Hello, sports fans from around the world. It's the one you've been waiting for, the NRL SuperCoach BDE Podcast. We are the best draft experts here to go pretty hardcore with the fans tonight to discuss buy-round action in terms of our NRL team lists. We've got our hardcore fans only on tonight, boys. This is where rubber meets the road. We hope that our loyal listeners, are in leagues that cover the buy-rounds. We'll cover a bit of strategy around, the size of your league, the number of players you got to run, etc., and a few little strategies around trades and waivers as well. Obviously, run through some waivers in the team lists, have a bit of a yak about the Origin team selections, garbage, and we will also finish with the List in the League wrap-up. So, Simo, how are you, good sir?
G'day, mate. Yes, listeners. You guys summed it all up, mate. Like, if you're listening to us in this particular week, like the first buy round, credit to you. It means you're doing your league right. It's one of the things the buy rounds is if you put the planning in, you'll be ahead of the game. So yeah, credit to Saran getting around us here.
That's great.
Yeah, just how good is it the buy round? Just trying to scrounge together a bit of a team. So it's a pretty big waiver episode for that. It certainly is a different style of SuperCoach when the buy rounds are hitting us. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how we go tonight.
Thanks, Simo. And, just for the benefit of our Spotify listeners, 2 comments before I flip to the Seximo on. Apologies last week for the delay, our loyal podcast listeners, Spotify listeners. There was a bit of an issue, the tech issue, hopefully resolved, and we'll get it out this week. And just mentioning Saran, who doesn't play buys? Cowards. I absolutely love that, Saran. And our man, Dom. Lads, Origin chat tonight. Interesting, as always. Great to have you, mate. We'll seek some comments as well from the listeners. Now, to introduce the other man himself, the colour commentator extraordinaire, Lil Tildmian. How are you, good sir?
Yes, mate, I am good. Recovering after a decently big Magic round. Footy wasn't overly great at Magic round apart from the Mighty Wars, but, we're there doing the thing, man. There was another good vibe around, plenty happening. So, yeah, looking forward to this week. A nice chill week on my couch. I'm sitting on my ass. It'll be nice. So, yeah, looking forward to it, mate. Let's get cracking.
Good stuff. We did have a good bit of fun on the Sunday, Tildmian. Wow. Boo you Panthers for showing how to game manage and have a week off and still win comfortably. Boo.
Yeah, boo.
Lucas Mentos, good to have you back, mate. My guys, great to see you as well, mate. Looking forward to some questions. All right, it is short and sweet in terms of the teams. So I think what we'll do, we're going to actually start off with a little bit of the Origin commentary. Todza, there's been a lot of chatter. We're not going to duplicate all the chat that's out there, mate, but I just actually want to know, now that you've seen the teams, who do you think, if it's I think you and I discussed this, if it is a fast-paced game that's played like NRL, New South Wales have got this very lightweight bench probably right and will actually be good. If it is the slower, grindier Origin where, the refs aren't blowing penalties and 6 agains over and again, then this slow, plotterish Queensland team, with the exception of Hammer, probably has the right play. Is that how you see it?
Yeah, it's pretty much how I see it. I didn't really going to touch on New South Wales. I thought Victor was a bit of an interesting selection. Saifiti gets the run too. I think that Jackson Ford is so hard done by missing out on this team. Like, what could he not bring there to that middle when they come on, when coming off the bench? So, yeah, I think if it's a fast-paced game, we've seen in the last couple of years, I think New South Wales do the job. But just listening to bloody Billy and Laurie Daly, those are 2 different dogs, eh? One's an alpha dog, and Laurie Daly, honestly, could be writing an episode of The Muppets. He's unbelievably bad, dude. So, yeah, if you go by presses, mate, Billy's 1-0 up already. So, yeah.
Yeah, Billy's composure is actually outstanding. The PR machine has been well and truly drilled into him now, so he's been nailing it. Simo, a comment that we were, an observation we were sort of getting into the other day to share with the listeners was around the odd decision to pick Cooler and play him on a wing instead of Casey McLean. The lack of height on the wings, mate, I don't think it's very clever as a second. It denies him another opportunity to score, right?
Yeah, it's one of those ones Cooler really like he's been such a good player this year. Like he fully deserves a spot in that New South Wales team. But to go and play him on the wing and just go like, yeah, you'll do a job there. When like I think it was coming out that I don't think he's played an NRL game as a starting winger. So
that makes sense. Yeah,
like it's pretty crazy when you think of it. Like obviously he can cover fullback as well, which is pretty useful for the team considering that they didn't pick like a fullback on the bench. So like obviously that's sort of his gig if Teddy was to go down. But yeah, look, New South Wales have gone the fast team, like the lighter team. I think it's a decent play. Like I just echo what Teddy said about like Jackson Ford. I mean, Payne Haas is not there, and then to still miss out without their best forward there, it's pretty rough for Jackson Ford. So yeah, it's a bit interesting. I mean, over to Queensland. I mean, Billy Slater. He always is. He sees things differently than everybody else, and he picks the team that he just wants to pick. Like he's obviously still giving Cody Capes a run. He's still putting Cotter on edge. Like I don't think any of us boys or anyone sort of out there in the mainstream or content creators in general would go with that. But you know, Billy Slater just goes with the guys that have done it before. Like Fini Fuliaki being 20th man is a shock to me because he should really be in that 19 somewhere. But you know, Billy obviously has a way where he wants him to build up into it. So, yeah, it'll be an interesting series. Look, Ash Klein being announced the referee, I think, like he won't. I think they even sort of joked about it on the weekend that he was not given 6 agains, as if he was like practicing for Origin, with the way it's going to be reffed. So he'll let the game flow as much as he bloody can, as much as he's pretty inept, but he won't. He'll put the whistle away for the most part. At least in terms of the 6 again. So that'll be a big factor as how the game's going to be won or lost. So yeah, looking forward to it as always. Origin's always a great time of year.
Yeah, let's just hope he can lift his standard on the decision making he was making live in that game we watched at Magic Round. Like my goodness, he made so many errors in game that you could even see from any seat in the grandstand. So wow, not good. He's not. Yeah, I don't get it. All right, so there is SuperCoach Origin as well, folks, which I think is good for a bit of a laugh. You may as well pick a pretty extreme. My little strategy, if you want to have a crack there, pick players that other people won't and hope they go well, is probably the answer because you can only pick 8 players. I think it's a maximum of 4 per team, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, may as well have a dip, see how we go. Love to hear if any of our listeners manage to get up because I'm sure there's a little prize or something on board for the series, most likely. So, yeah, a bit of fun.
Yeah, it's not my cup of tea, but you know, just have a crack. You know, you might get lucky, whatever. Just take it.
Well. One of those things. Yeah, it's like 8. You pick 8 and just go from there.
Oh, look, I'm not going to lie. I won't do it. There's like, for me, Origin football. Like, I don't want to watch Origin with any SuperCoach lens whatsoever. Like, it's just
that's fair.
The NRL's the NRL, and I'll get behind my players and everything's SuperCoach. Like that's the meat and potatoes. Yep. But when it comes to Origin, mate, it is just I don't. Yeah, I really don't think I'll even bother putting a team in. To be fair,
stuff him, he says. I like it, mate.
Yeah,
it's the gambler in me. I can't resist. Any other comments, gentlemen? I think we're just obviously hoping for. Let's get through with that injury. Suspension, touch wood, usually is fine in Origin unless. Your name's Joseph Swali, of course. So let's just, let's keep those to a minimum, please. And hopefully, I think, listeners, the bit of strategy now before we jump into the team. So just for those who've listened to us many times, you obviously, Simo and I have been talking about this for years, but there's some strategy around these buy rounds if you play them. So certainly, you want to absolutely eye off your immediate opponent first. Hopefully, you've been doing that a bit sooner than this week. Work out if you've got a genuine chance to get the numbers to get yourself a winner, at least get yourself level. And a bit of advice, Simo, that we've been absolutely harping on about for year upon year, something you and I have used to our advantage. Work out very quickly if you can compete. If you can, do not go half in. There is no point in dropping those guys you'd rather not drop to sort of have a crack. Mate, you just got to sell it, right? Go for it if you're going to have a crack.
Yeah, I mean, 95% of the listeners out there, that's exactly what you should do. Like we've talked about it a little bit in our league now that we have an extra bonus point for finishing in the top 5 each week. So our league's probably a little bit different for those in our particular league that are out there listening. But like vast majority of the listeners out there, you just got to go either all in or all out. Because as you said, the worst feeling is when you drop a guy that you'd rather not, and you can your opponent's got another 3 or 4 guys up the chamber, and you can just come home strong if they so wish. So it is like, obviously it's hard to know what your opponent is going to do, but you've also got to be a realist as well and go, look, am I a realistic chance? If I was in my opponent's shoes, what would I do? What's his tendencies like? And just sort of figure that out.
Yep. Where are they on the ladder as well, of course? And then the extension of that advice, Todzer, is you definitely want to have a look at other matchups as well and work out who looks like they're genuinely going to have a crack. Start some dialogue potentially with a guy who's got that. Usually they're pretty willing to trade the sort of like those mid-tier players that aren't superstars. They're usually quite keen. They'll be happy if they're not going for a win. They might be willing to trade those to you, and you can get a fair price sometimes. Like it might even be the position for position swap can get you over the line. So, Todd, did you have any other sort of thoughts around that, mate? Or any?
No, mate. I think you've both banged it on the head there. Just especially that one where you look to see who is looking to have a win, and if they've got something you like, have a play at it. Also, keep in mind that people do drop and pick up players all throughout the weekend. So I'm always watching who's getting dropped, who's getting picked up, and maybe there's someone there on free agency I can pick up. It's always good to see what your opponent's doing as well.
And then welcome Meso, as always, giving us some wonderful perspective. Everyone should lie in their league WhatsApp groups and say they're not going to fight for it this week. That's brilliant. Just flat lie. No honor amongst winners, I suppose. Whatever tactics you're comfortable with. One that we certainly are not in favor of, and our league have very, put it this way, strict enough that if someone was ever caught doing this, the old pick up and drop and bury him in waivers, don't do it, folks. Win honorably. Don't be doing that crap. You see that there's a CTW, only one CTW left. You can pick them up and block them if you hang on to the guy, but not the pick up and dump so that no one can play them. That's dirty stuff, Simon. I know some of our listeners over the long journey have mentioned doing that, and we've just said, there's a better way.
Yeah, I'm a bit the guys that pick up and do it like, in 15-minute spurts. There's a certain place in hell for people that do that. But like for me, I reckon like if there's like a statute of limitations with it. I mean, if you give someone, I reckon like 12 hours to do something, like let's say there's 2 hookers left out there, and you go and block and pick up one of them, and then your opponent doesn't pick up the second one in the space of a decent period of time, maybe more than 12 hours, but you get where I'm going with here. Like I think there is an element of strategy to it if your opponent doesn't make that move. But if you're going and picking up and dropping heaps of guys in really short spaces of time, that's just, that's not how you should be playing fantasy.
Yeah, I like the idea of blockers though, folks. So if you do see that your opponent, if somehow you've got the numbers and you got the roster space, like doing blockers or even getting ahead of them, that's a completely above board and would advise strategies like that. Meso's added, I agree on that dirty behavior. Must be banned. It's a weakness in the app, of course. It is, mate, for sure. Saran says, we allow pool sacking in our comp. It is very funny, especially when someone drops. Is that, Saran, are you referring to what we're saying we're not a fan of? Is that what pool sacking is? I'm not familiar with that term. Don't know. Not sure what that is. Bit of commentary from our man Will. Good to have you back, mate. I feel for Lukey. He's Queensland's best second rower in the comp personally at the moment. YEAAAHHH close behind. I understand not playing both as they're both right to arrest. That's actually quite good commentary there, mate. Both missing out. I think Lukey as a starter, I would have been happy with Finafui on the bench is the way I see it. Finafui as the punch off the bench, I think could have really been something amazing. So a little bit surprised, to be honest. Sorry, I've already had that one. And Saran's just confirmed, they allow pool sacking in their comp. Wow. Jesus.
I mean, look, the only defense to it is that, like, I don't want to be rewarding guys who don't look after their teams. Like, if it's Saturday and someone hasn't made those moves yet, like, and they've spent no time on waivers, they haven't done their due diligence and looked at picking up guys, like, I'm not saying it's okay, but I can understand it if that's the thinking. Like, these guys have had 3 days to add drops and he still hasn't done it. Like, there is that element of it where I kind of understand it, but yeah, going ahead and picking up and dropping like 20 CTWs is pretty dog.
Call me honest, Abe Todzer. I'm a bit firmer than Simo. I don't go anywhere near that caper myself, or I hate it, to be honest. Where are you, mate? Where do you sit on this?
I'm with you, Abe. I'm with you, mate. I like your side.
Not the cut of my jib. Just add Meso. I did miss this one. I agree, Saran. Leagues that don't play Origin may as well wear double underpants just in case shit goes down. Pathetic. Very good, mate. I like that. Very firm. All right, boys. So that's just a few little strategies there. Feel free, listeners. A lot of you guys are experts. You've been with us for a long time through buy rounds. But if you have any questions around it, specific strategies or thoughts, please whack them in the chat and we'll do our best. On to the team list, sorry. I can say it is exciting. Two of the faces I can see here, the return of Trey Fuller and Jacob Carraz. That's pretty cool. Good players to watch. Boy, do the Dogs need Carraz to spark them into something. Like, that's a huge in for them because they've been so putrid. Anywho, Trey Fuller, he's back. He is in the number one. Todzer, I'm going to imagine in most of the competitive leagues our listeners are being that he is not out there, but he's like your slam dunk if you need a fullback this week. He's the greatest bullet you've probably ever seen, but get him there. Easy.
Literally enough said.
Easy money. For number one overall, done. Get playing this week. Enjoy. Okay, the rest of it, Tavita Nafahu, I'll stay with you here, Todzer. He's been an outstanding Supercoach contributor when he's there. Brad Schneider's in there, though. Anytime I see that, it worries me about how clunky it could look. It's literally Schneider tackle botting and Katoa will be on the ball 400,000 times, right? Yeah,
that's what it looks like. Don't really love the crazy matchup for Nafahu. Like, it's just every time Schneider's in there, it looks awful. JMK is back at 9, though, so that will help around the ruck. You can fire up Nafahu in a pinch.
Yeah, I'm all right with him. I think he's a decent bye-week play, shown a bit of upside. Probably unlucky he's at a team that has so many outside backs. He's better than your Jonathan Sewers and the like, I tend to think. Certainly a little bit better than Junior Ponga, Simo. Yeah. I needed to say it. Has there been a worse CTW performance in the NRL in the last 5 years? Like, my goodness.
Oh, look, I wouldn't have thought so. I mean, Tane Mill may have gone close once or twice. But
that is a fantastic call.
I don't know how he could have been worse than that, though. Literally, just everything he did just was cocked up. Everything. Drop balls, thrown over the sideline, just missed tackles. Yeah.
Letting the ball drop, nearly dropping it every time he ran. He even got away with a sideways play the ball at one point because he was clearly just rattled. And we were having a good laugh, lads, that maybe the first player in history to come on to it, get hooked, and then be reinserted because of injury. With this new rule, I think that might be a first. That was incredible.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, so and we did check. We actually took – I couldn't help. I looked to see if Tommy Talau was available. No, injured. But Junior Tupou sitting there in the reserves. What's he done not to get a run over Junior Ponga? My goodness.
Anyway. He'll be in there next week, don't you worry. Guarantee it.
You bet he will. And shout out Cody Ramsey. I love that story, gents. I'm well behind this. He's a trier, and he's not a bad footballer, to be fair. Goes all right. All right. The rest of it. So, look, Lemuel are going to be owned. Finafiliaki owners. You are just loving life here.
Sure.
20th man, or at least that version in Origin used to rule you out. Not anymore. How good do you run? Huge. Absolutely huge. So, no Plath means, but imagine having JMK step in at 9 really quickly, listeners. Like, if JMK is out there or he's sitting with an owner who might not be going for the win this week, I would look at him as like a really cool guy to actually get for rest of season value because he hasn't quite had the chance yet to absolutely explode. Could still be very gettable. So he's got that extra bit of mustard on it because I think he's going to come home like a freight train personally. All right. Over to the Raiders. I'm really happy to see him back. The X-Man's back a little bit early, Simo. As a truther, he was having the best start to a year he's ever had. That's not even remotely in doubt. Mate, his average pre that injury, he was looking genuinely like a guy who could start. There was 120 in there somewhere, I think. But, mate, are you interested in him rest of season as a platoon?
Yeah, I think he's a pretty Canberra's a pretty good bye coverage team. Obviously, with the round 26 bye, means they suck up one there that's going to be painful later on down the track. But Savage, the fact that he's back now, perfect timing for this week. Like he does have that rest of season value that you can get behind. Like, yeah, as you said, I mean, it's the first time in ages where he's been pretty consistently hitting an attacking stat every single week. There were, like in the past, Xavier Savage, we know he's sort of been really inconsistent. He'll go through a couple of games where he might be really, really quiet, where he might score like a kick try or something and still only get to 40. But this year he's been so much better. He's been putting together a lot better scores. So, yeah, I mean, first week back, if it was just a normal round, I'd probably say maybe just take it easy. But the fact that it's a bye round, beggars can't be choosers. So you've got to jump in there and go for these sorts of guys. So it wouldn't be like a massively high waiver, but he's someone you can look at that does tick a few boxes.
Yeah, as you said, Simo, plays 12 all the way through to 17, covers the next two major buy rounds, so you can at least assess when you get to 18. So I'm with you, mate. I think that's a decent low shout. Pardon me. Sticking with you, fella, Zach Hosking. Many leagues out there, we sort of mentioned that, potentially a good little stash because with Sasangi's injury, it's and obviously Huddy Young playing Origin, he is at minimum going to cover you in those two big buy rounds that we said. But with Sasangi out for up to somewhere between 4 and 6, mate, I've got to feel he's a pretty obvious waiver claim this week.
Yeah, he is definitely a waiver claim, Zach Hosking, because you just know what you're going to get there. You're going to get like 80 minutes now. Because like the big question was before, like would he get the 80? But he'll probably get 80 minutes with the current makeup of that team. Obviously Hudson Young not there. So yeah, I think he'll punch out at minimum 60 points with the upside of getting a lot more than that. So yeah, guy that could be really good for the next 4 weeks plus is going to be a good player this week. That's worthy of a waiver in a buy round.
Yep. And Todza, Artem Mariota, mate, maybe a bit of hand with the stats. Has he done anything when he started on edge, or are the minutes too low? Because I know he gets pulled.
Yeah, I just seen it. I just looked at that just this year alone. He was named to start the edge.
Yeah.
In round 9, he played 46 minutes and just plodded his way to a 34. So
it's not enough.
That's just from this year, mate. I don't know if he actually started there or whether he. Yeah.
No, that's fine. That's kind of what I suspected. I'm even hesitant to say FRF too. I have to feel as though there's better options this week. And if you've got limited spots, guys, there's another strategy. I tend to have a look and see, if I've got, say, a number advantage versus my opponent, if I've got 1 or 2 extra numbers, maybe putting in someone who's got a good floor is probably a decent play. But, of course, guys, if you're behind or level, you might shoot for more upside plays. So, in other words, use those precious spots that you've got to fill more upside-laden positions. So, yeah. All right. So Zach Hosking, just checking for both of you. Like, for me, I'd say if you're 2RF needy and, of course, the buy coverage is there, I'm pretty happy spending most levels of a waiver there because I think he's just got value.
Yeah,
like
that's fair.
Better than Fuller. Obviously, Fuller's like for this week's just a slam dunk, but with the extra bit of value for weeks, like would you go number 1 potentially?
Probably not number 1 for me. I'd spend like a 4, 5, 6 kind of deal. Number 1 would be a bit rich for me.
Yeah, on the same as Todd.
Yeah, okay. Yep. All right. Couple of questions coming in here around this game. Yeah, man, Will, I have a feeling I know how you'll answer this one, Simo, as an absolute truther and a half. Tamale's out there in Will's league. Okay.
Must be nice.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, you can scratch the advice around the X-Man and go hump the hell out of that claim. Yeah.
So the X-Man, what was that?
Well, we were giving advice and saying the X-Man's a decent platoon. Tamale is at worst a very good third CTW, maybe a second.
Oh, sorry. No, you absolutely tripped me up there because look, unbeknownst to you, so shout out to Carrot in the listener league. He's offered me a few trades over the last couple of days, as he has a lot of others in our league. Shout out to Cletus as well, putting it all up on the message board, but that's beside the point. He's offered, his latest offer to me was Xavier Willison for Tamale, and so when you said the X-Man, it just completely threw me. I was like, where have you pulled that from?
No, fair play.
You've absolutely just nailed the trade offer, and I was like, hang on, how did you nail that? But okay, yeah, Savage, I get it.
Well,
now I'm following you.
Well, mate, he's put it up on the league board, so obviously I've seen it, right?
just going. It's a one-way chat
That's
with
great.
Cletus. Very good.
That's great. Love your work, Cletus. Great to have you in the league, mate. All right, there's a couple of other ones here. Bit of a typo here from Dom, but would you drop for Feeder or Butcher for Hosking rest of season? Todds, Fifi, no. It sucks Fifi's not there this round, but he covers the other two big buy rounds, so definitely not. See you later, Nat Butcher. Go on.
Yeah.
I know Butcher's been fine, and he had those big sort of high floor games with his tackling, and his runs have been good, but I'd still go Hosking here. I have to. Semi no disagreement there.
Yeah, easy. Butcher doesn't play this week. Hosking does. That's a easy one.
Meso picked up Mariota thinking Big Red would be picked for Origin, less keen on Mariota. I get your angle there. I think the minutes would have been good for him. A lot. I'm sure there are better options, Meso, we're about to discuss. And Will has listened strong. He said humping activated. Good stuff, mate. Give that Tamale leg a run. Okay, that's really the rest of it. In those deeper leagues, if you're absolutely desperate, Seb Chris, sadly, and even 10-teamers is like higher up there on average than you'd care to admit. So I don't think the Dolphins defend all that great still. Dane Laurie, if you need a fullback, he's clearly behind Fuller. Probably an all right shout, Todzo, if you need a fullback, yeah?
Yeah, decent enough. Every time he gets a start here, we always see a little something from Dane.
Kind of like him playing in the halves. I feel like he'd just be on the ball. Ooh, Saran. This is a good question. Might get some different answers from the boys here. Matty Timoko or the hot tamale, Tozo?
The hot tamale.
I'm a Timoko man here. Simo, I presume you're also on the tamale side.
This is actually a very common question. This is also on X from, I think, Adam. So this decision's being made by a few people out there, and for me, it is tamale.
Yeah, I was not surprised that I'd be against the crowd there. Look, he's probably got the greater upside. I love me a bit of Matty Timoko floor upside combo and centers in this modern version. So good stuff. Both good options though, listeners. Let's not beat around the bush. They're outstanding options this week. I'd love if they were available in our league. All right. Jaden Brayley playing 13. How good do you run? All right. Bulldogs versus Storm. So I'm going to go to Storm first because I just want to look at the changes. So Keegan Russell Smith, I believe this is his second match he's had in the NRL. Simo, can you give us any read, mate? Anything, that suggests he's a starter?
Oh, no, not really. I mean, as you said, he's only a rookie. So they're the really hard guys in these sorts of rounds. Like, just sometimes they really surprise you and they come out and brain it. I think, if memory serves correctly, I think Jonah Pezzett may have done that in one of the bye rounds. This was like back when Jonah Pezzett was like first starting at the Storm. Like, we're doing exactly in this situation. So it definitely comes out and happens, and you go, shit, I should have gone there. But it's it's so hard to pick it because for every one of those, like they can come out and score you 20. So just know that it's definitely fraught with danger.
Yes, you'd probably try and find better options. The other options in here in terms of pickups. So I'd be keener to have a punt. Trent Talau, Todza. I don't mind that idea. Just in such a shit position. However, that's more if you're rounding out your starters. You'd probably have Hooker would be almost the last you'd fill, right? Yeah,
you'd think so. And a buy around Hooker's definitely deep into my my thoughts. I'd rather hit like some upside on a CT dub or a 2RF than I would be looking for a Hooker.
Yeah, absolutely. Cooper Clark, though, mate, your boy. It's been interesting because he's been on and off the bench and what have you. I would think if he's out there, he represents a really good FRF play this week and kind of I think he's got enough base in him plus a little bit of upside. Like the kid can score tries. He's actually
the dude can play. The dude can play. He definitely when he's out there, he puts in a hell of a shift. So I'm looking forward to seeing him. Don't think he'll play huge minutes in the lock roll, probably the same as what he's been playing the last couple of weeks.
But very startable FRF too.
Oh, mate, startable FRF1 this week, mate. Seriously.
Yeah, I can get around it. He's been really good. Just trying to think. Dogs have been
just going back there, mate. So just on Trent Tolau. So a little like tricky little thing to navigate this week is like he's playing hooker, but he's halfback only on SuperCoach. So
good shout, mate.
Finding a hooker eligible player it can be really, really tough in the bye rounds because there's only like a certain number of hooker eligible players, and then the Storm have obviously in a position there where they don't actually have one. So you might be looking at like a Jaden Braley starting at 13 because like that.
Yeah,
obviously he's a hooker with the starting pulse this week is better than anything else. I mean, obviously there's Damien Cook. You got the Bulldogs hooker, so like good luck with that.
Do not. Bailey Hayward. That advice I just gave Simo, he would be. I've got no one else on. There's no one else on waivers available. I am 12v13 or 12v12, and I'm just looking to get that extra number. That's it.
Mate, I'm behind you, and the thing is, like, it's not that uncommon in these sorts of bye rounds because, if you're in a 10-man league, there's only 8 teams playing. So, or is it how many teams is there? 10 playing? 10 playing. Like, there's, some people might double up, or they're just ill-owned or whatever.
Real quick commentary on one of the media stories of the week. Sam Verrill's photograph with Gus. What planet is Gus on that his commentary? And I love Gus Gould. I think he's hilarious. But, it's not even that interesting. Why do you photograph that? Well, yeah, it is because, you're talking to a player who's under contract who you clearly need to have a chance to not lose every game each week. So get Verrills to the Dogs, and at least you'll have someone who can give him early service to be a little bit more competitive. I'm here for it. Get into the Dogs.
I mean, no problem with it. Like, if it's before June 30 and the Titans agree, which I don't see why they wouldn't.
Exactly.
Like, whatever.
Exactly. All right. We've got to go to startable options then here. So we've gone through Josh King scores a try. Watching him beef on last week and then dropping the ball was hilarious to me, being his tough man again. He sucks, man. Jack Howarth, I've never been happier as a Queensland fan to see him picked for Melbourne here this week. Simo?
Yeah, sure. I reckon we've been happier. I reckon we have. We could think hard enough. There's been some Queensland names thrown around in the past. That's
Edric Lee.
I would take Edric Lee on the wing over Jack Howarth in the centre for Origin.
Wow.
Jack Howarth should have pretty much been dropped by Melbourne at one point this year, and oh my lord. Some strong opinions here from Kelsey. I'd be staying away from the Dogs. Gus is an F-word. Very good. Tell us how you really feel. Love it. All right, sorry, back to the SuperCoach perspective. So Nick Meaney, my goodness, is he defensively, he's an absolute mess. Can you start him this week, Todd? Can you start Howarth? Warbrick's been kind of quiet, and Moses Leo. Give us any green lights.
I mean, it's a bye round. You probably fire up Meaney, get the goal kick, and hopefully he scores one kind of thing. I wouldn't be firing up Howarth. Warbrick probably going to start with the try scoring abilities. So Moses Leo, you can probably leave on the pond.
Yeah, okay. Looked like he was badly injured as well and managed to survive. The saviour in the bye round, Anari Tuala, back to the centres. You love to see it. Fire him up as a 4 CT dub this week. That's where you actually want him to play. The wing was not. Even though he scored 70 last week, it's not his friend. Bronson Jerry, yep, sure. Probably Jerry and Tuala can have a run this week. Our listeners wouldn't be in leagues where Carraz is out there, but obviously don't dick around if he somehow has been dropped for some reason. The rest of it, it's all players that are already owned. Don't start Jamin Salmon, please. Even in a bye round. Please do better. He actually had a good week last week, which is annoying. All right, the Dragons to the Waz to just warm the cockles of your heart for your beloved Dragons, Todza. And a boy you love as well, Jaden Sewer, playing in the centres at this stage of his career at NRL level.
Oh, boy, who's going to be on that side? Let's work it out. Who's on that side?
Please tell me it's Leia Tower, please.
He'll play left, right? Because Val's on the right.
Val's on the left now.
No, Val's on the left now. So he'll play right. That's up against Pompey.
So Leah Tower gets to play Jaden Sewer?
Leah Tower will get to play Jaden.
I would be starting Ale Leah Tower in this matchup, listeners. I'm very confident.
Pompey's against
Pompey's against him.
Wrong start. Oh.
Yeah, because Leah Tower plays on the right. Yeah.
Boring. Holmes is by possibly Kelsey talking about classic. However, I will ask you both, gentlemen, you could get Val Holmes this week off the owner, especially if they're not going for the win, pretty easily, I would say. Is there any hope? Is there anything, Todzer? Could this be that extreme buy low that pays off?
Jeez, I mean, the advice is to sit here and say to do it, but man, he's looked bad, dude. He looked awful out there when we were watching him. It was actually a pain of my eyes to watch.
It was.
Yeah, man, if you get the right price with Valentine Holmes, I hope he bounces back, sure, but I don't think he's going to bounce back.
It's one of those things, if you got him at the price he probably is, you can take a punt, start him in this buy round. They play 12 and 18 Dragons, so it's like not the worst coverage. You just have to potentially hold him through 15, which you may not want to do. So I can't believe we're saying that about Val Holmes. That sucks. You can start Setu too. That's fine. That's pretty much it, really. Like Jaden Suasima, you're not like this is the thing. After this round, it's not likely he moves back to an edge role, is it? He's going to be moved to the bench to rotate through the middle, I presume.
Yeah, look, if you're Dean Young, like we know that Sua's leaving.
Yeah.
The Dragon season is obviously gone, considering they haven't won a game through 10 weeks. Like, why would they not just like we've been saying it for weeks and weeks on end? Like they are just going to go young, and they are doing that now. Like Pacific Tonga, both Couchmans, Egan's back, and Stewart. Like that's their best. That's their best young pack. I mean, Sua is a great player, and obviously a Queensland rep of last year, but there's just no point of them running him out there in the second row for big minutes. Like bench is probably where he's going to go. He'll rotate in and play a role, but there's just no upside to it. It's almost like Dylan Brown of last year. I mean, the Eels were going nowhere. Dylan Brown signed somewhere else. Like, yeah, it's just one of those things that I completely understand it from Dean Young's point of view.
So not a waiver, mate, because in normal circumstances, obviously, if he was dropped in a league, if he was playing 80 minutes on an edge, even in a crap team, he still gets his 65-plus average. But is it still worth a punt, though, especially if you're not – like, he gives you a number this week.
Yeah, he gives you a number, but as you said, it's playing centre where he's probably not going to do a hell of a lot. I mean, yeah, I'm not going to buy into the name and say he's a waiver just because he's Jaden Sua. So for me, he's a free agent only. But that means I probably won't own him. And I'm okay with that. But
yeah,
like I'm not spending a waiver claim on a guy that I don't think will play that well this week and has not much rest of season value in my eyes. Like again, I could be wrong. So if you disagree, then jump on board. And there'll be people out there in a lot of leagues that do agree with that take. So that's just where I'm at and why I won't necessarily have him.
Yeah, that's fair. I can live with that. Over to the Wars, Todzer. Your other team. This is just a dream matchup for you. If somehow the Dolphins could play as well, you'd be absolutely laughing.
Oh, yeah. It'd be incredible. Why can't we get the Dolphins referee now? So that'd be great.
Tamare Martin. He has, I think, unsurprisingly got the gong. You had a spectacular rant last week about Luke Metcalf that was brilliant from you. Listeners, if you haven't listened to the Todd, absolutely just fire from the guard tower. It was a sight to behold. He's rightfully not been picked because he hasn't been training apparently as well, Todd. He's literally been shelved almost. Given he's on his way back from injury, like surely TMM, you can't see the Wars losing this one. Like you're down a couple of players, but the rest of it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Like given 5'8" is as shallow as it is, given the Wars coverage is the first two big buy rounds, mate, is he a number one contender this week?
Mate, I like the shout. Like if you're needing a halfback or he's dual, right? Halfback 5'8".
Yeah, 5'8" is the big one, mate, for sure.
5'8" is the massive one. So yeah, I think he is pretty close to a number one this week. Especially with the buy coverage. Look, just looking back at his 2023, 2024 stats when he played halfback, like average 68, and that was in a year that the Wales went pretty good. So has a couple of really decent high scoring hundreds there. So we've seen that he can produce when he's been a halfback. And with this Warriors team going forward the way it has been, I definitely think he's a really top-end waiver.
I'm a truther, mate. I've been a truther for a long time, as I did not like him as second receiver. I've said this to you many times. I love that season when he had that stint when SJ was braining it. He came in and kept the momentum for the Wars. I thought he was fantastic real life and super coach. So he's, 5'8", unless you're sitting on one of the big boys, he's a pretty high-end claim this week. Goal kicking, I noticed he kicked, but also Chanel's usually been pretty awful with the boot. So who actually kicks here? Tuapiki had a couple of kicks as well.
Yeah, Tuapiki stabbed the ball, man. I think it might be Tamari Martin, to be honest.
Just adding to the value, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely.
Did he?
I don't think. No. Surely it's CHT.
CHT, Simo, do you remember that period a couple of years ago when he took it over and he literally was shanking them? It was horrible to watch.
Yeah, that's true. But, I mean, Tamari Martin's probably, he's never really kicked goals. I mean, they went with Tuapiki first last week and then, as you said, gave it to CHT. I honestly don't think Tamari Martin kicking goals should be anywhere. I agree he's the number one waiver, way up there, but, we can't be saying he's going to be kicking goals to the listeners. I think that's a far cry. It's going to be one of those other two. Pompey would do it before them.
Really?
Before Tamari Martin, 1,000%.
Yeah.
I think Tuapiki then, based on that, would be a bigger shout. But, Adam, that's right, mate. So that Pompey actually is the other one. He wasn't absolutely terrible with the boot either. So there's a few options there. None elite, but all serviceable. Shout out to the Khan Pereira. negative 1 point via a sneaky upgrade. That was an absolute nightmare. If someone drops him because they're absolutely frustrated, feel free to waiver after the drop because he'll atone for his errors this week. I'll give you a try guarantee, listeners. It will happen very comfortably this week. Dallin running down the sideline and pretty much letting him tackle him was it's my highlight of the weekend. I swear he was goading him in so he could do his dive because he just doesn't like putting the ball down normally. It was brilliant. So love you, DWZ. Jacob Laban, Simo, hasn't ever really locked down high minutes when he's played on the edge, but given it's a bye round, Capewell, as a more experienced player who's going to be starting, I would say is far from a lock to back up as a starter next week as well. Is Laban something you're interested in?
Yep, I reckon Laban's got 2 weeks at least.
Yeah.
Obviously, he'll cover this bye and the next one. So,
yep.
He's like a mid at on the high end, probably more of a low end claim, just because, he hasn't always been the most reliable player when he's been given minutes, but I think we all agree that he's a better player than what he's shown, and he's a better SuperCoach player than what he's shown in the past. So, he's a pretty good start this week. Again, he would it shock me if he came out and played 72 minutes and only scored 40? No, but it also wouldn't shock me if he scored 2 tries. So, I'm happy to roll the dice on Jacob Laban, that's for sure.
Hosking over Laban for you both, but not a bad second option. Is that how we're looking at it?
Yeah, Hosking over Laban for me.
Yep. Simo, same?
Yeah, definitely. Yep. Hosking over.
All right. Moving on down to the Saturday game, the Seagulls versus the Titans. Clayton Failolo rewarded. We weren't all the way in on the start, but said certainly we're interested. Boys, he's got a left to right pass, which was a little surprising. And he did it twice in that game, both sumptuous, especially the second one. I mean, my goodness, he's going to hold that spot. If you've got leagues that just didn't believe, which is fine, I get it. He's another option, CT dub. Jesus, he's got to be owned now for sure.
Kid can play.
It's going to be weird. When they're at full strength, obviously, congrats to Tolo Kula for getting a start in Origin. But he's the odd man out here. Garrick moving on to your club, Simo, he's not going to get dropped. So it's going to be Failolo odd man out. It's going to be a very rough bench when it comes around the way he played on the weekend.
Yeah, unfortunately so. I mean, it sucks that we do see this all the time. I mean, Trey Fuller's a prime example. How many times has he come in and absolutely brain it? And then, there's been a couple of times where they've moved him into center for him, but for the most part, they haven't. So, when Tommy comes back, then, Failolo's probably going to miss out, as you say. I think it's just the way it'll be.
Yeah.
But then again, like any backline injury, you'll be straight in there.
He's covering all of them, isn't he? He's shown he can play centre, wing, and fullback now. So just a one, potentially, like obviously, you can see why Garrick was let go. He'll be there next year, and it'll be very interesting. With probably a pretty good average too. If he's out there, boys, like he's gonna. I think from what I saw from Tommy is post the week 15 bye would be my guess. So I would think that including this bye or next 2 bye rounds. Yeah, he's a pretty high waiver if you need a CT dub, and he's great for this week. Awesome for this week.
Perfect.
I'm not really interested in Wilson or Felity myself. Saab with his 130 actually did have a very good game hands-wise for a change. Yeah, we've seen it before. He can get streaky. So he might be one, boys, I'm going to put in the category. Say you've done everything you can to have a crack in a game week and you want to just have a stab at a real upside option. In this matchup, you could do a lot worse than have a rip. Agreement?
Agreed.
Yep. He's the guy that you play if you haven't got a numbers advantage.
That's right. Absolutely. Luke Brooks is that's another strat we should say. Ideally, Saab, you want to take your flyers on those type of guys usually early in your round, and then you can adjust on the fly and make ad drops. So it's a little bit shit that he's the Saturday, but at least it's not the last game of the round. So just looking at Dom, you've said Walsh. Unfortunately, mate, with Luke Brooks, but Fosball is working for Luke Brooks. He played fantastic again on the weekend. Crazy to say out loud. He's a buy-round starter this week in the 5/8. No problem. Against the Titans, he'll probably score about 55. So get him in there. Paseka was brilliant. Wakeham, Simo, as per your point, not only does he have Simpkin on the bench, but he's dual-eligible half, so you can't start him in hooker. There's another one. Nor you'd probably want to.
I think he's gaining hooker this week, isn't he? I'm pretty sure he's one of the guys getting the upgrade.
I thought he'd already been locked away for the dual 5/8 halfback. I could be wrong. Might be wrong.
Not sure. I just thought I may have read him getting the hooker thrown in. So I guess we'll go to double check that. Toddy's on it.
He is the dual half 5/8.
Yeah, he is. So he's locked. He's down.
Perfect.
My boy Ethan gets the start, and he is very usable this week in the buy round. He will base enough points. Love a bit of Ethan Bullymore.
Ethan.
Jackson Sherab. Don't know a lot about him. Simo, you got anything for us?
He debuted, was it last week? He came on and played bugger all minutes at the end. Pretty decent Supercoach game when he gets minutes. So look, he's someone I wouldn't hate taking a bit of a flyer on if I was really desperate late in the round. But again, like I said earlier, you always for it with danger when you go on guys that haven't played many games. But I don't mind the cut of his jib.
He'll be that guy, Simo, where you weren't all in at first at the start of the week and you've had your early round players have scored quite well and you're like, yeah, Jackson Sherab's out there. Let's fly him in there. I love those starts.
Yeah. Goes out and plays 50 minutes.
Yeah, scores 35 and you're like, sweet. I'm really glad I got the Cesar Wanga line wrong. Just looking at the bench for Jackson Sherab here, I think that's very favourable. Like there's a big chance he plays close to 80 minutes there. So I'm a pretty solid, absolutely happy to start him in the 2RF actually, based on that.
You love a manly back rower, that's for sure.
I do, mate. Burbo not quite hitting the highs of early season of late, but he's still plodding along. Jeez, he plods. Far out he plods. Titans.
3 weeks ago, was the best back row in the front of the bloody game for you, mate.
He's been pretty helpful for me in my situation, mate, I'll tell you. Jensen Onomatopeya, how did he roll there, Todd?
Yeah, he rolled as good as that last name. I've even checked the score, mate. That's how irrelevant he was.
I'll let you.
You got a 30. You got a 30, mate.
Yeah, it's probably an okay matchup, but there are better CT dubs. Brimo is one. This is the week that Brimo finally gets to start in 10-team leagues and above with 5/8. Simo, I saw you strategically picked him up for that reason for last week. I rated it. You can slot him in there and just hope he at least gets you 50 plus because he's probably as good as any of the shit options at 5/8. Sammy can have his platoon buy start as well, not been quite as good. Probably trying not to start.
Yeah, well, the best thing about those Titans guys is they did nothing last week, so
Yeah.
they're due, and because they're not consistent, so hopefully they can jag some upside this week.
Yep. A man who didn't do nothing. Hopefully you got on Ollie Pascoe that we got excited about last week. Absolutely brained it with a 99 to lead all hookers. It's incredible how that's turned around from the start of the year when you had both Verrills and Summerton ahead of him. So good luck to him. He's a goer. He looks plenty good. So, yep, brilliant. Covers the next two big buy rounds as well. Good luck to those who got on. Arama Ho, we hope gets the start this week. If he's been dropped, he is fine to waiver because I think he'll find his way back to this starting team anyway. Randall's concussion means at least Randall's in the extended. Hopefully similar to the way Noah Martin was being rested. I think Hannay said he was just letting him sort of, find his legs a bit again. Probably start in a lot of games on the run home. I'm all about him as a waiver claim this week, gentlemen, if he's out there.
Sounds good to me, mate. We've seen the talent. We've seen him score, goes over a bit. So, yeah, like it.
Beautiful. All right. The last game of the round on the Sunday is the Cowboys versus the Rabbits. Jackson flat track bully Purdue. A chance against a weakened Bunnies maybe to finally hit upside. Todd, we were talking about that in early season. There was a lot of love for Purdue. Might be the number 1 5/8. The tail of the tape so far, mate, is he needs weak opposition to hit upside, unfortunately.
Yeah. Bit of flat track. Just finding his feet, mate. Just finding his feet.
It's slight for my liking, like a bit more size on my centers myself.
I've heard that about you.
Yeah, yeah, baby. He's the one that I obviously play this week, but I'd be looking to try and get a trade. If he goes well this week, I'd be looking to trade because the rest of the buy coverage for the Cowboys, week 15 and 18, they don't play. So it makes it just that little bit harder to justify like hanging him because he's been pretty shit outside of those bigger spike weeks. So don't know about that. And without Dearden there, I'm fading these Cowboys hardcore, Simo. That hurts them so badly in attack now.
Yeah, well, I thought that last week, and then of course, they played those stupid Roosters that always lose to these sorts of bloody teams.
Right.
Yeah, they do.
To support.
Every time, I tell you.
Mate, do you buy into the narrative that Teddy got the nod he was playing and he just, it's Savala on a wing and Ethan, what's his name? My favorite player. Butcher.
Ethan Butcher. Yeah.
Poor Teddy did the plays he would normally do with his outside backs that result in try assists and stuff. The one that Savala overran it by 3 meters, and Teddy's like, "Where the hell is my winger gone?" That's brutal. Brutal stuff.
Yeah, look, Ethan Butcher should be. He's flat out being a forward in the NRL, but putting him out in the wing was just wild. Then again, then you got Junior Punga, so we've already been through that.
We've been there. We can bash him again if you want. All right, so Drinkwater owners are obviously going to start him. They're going to get him about there. Potentially someone I'd like try and cash in as well. Maybe use Drinkwater after this week, or if you're not going for it, go try and get like a Reece Walsh or something. Like, I'm not saying Drinky for Reece Walsh will happen straight up, but while the narrative on Walsh is down, I don't mind the idea of Drinky plus something to go get like Reece myself, or when Jerome Buller's back in a little bit, maybe a Drinkwater there, because I just, again, without Dearden, I'm not there. I think he'll struggle personally. So can you greenlight anyone outside of Drinky, Purdue, Chester, Clifford in the backs there? Anyone?
No. I prefer not to.
I'd say no as well, if you can.
See, I feel like you can fire up Zach Lay, but hey, I mean, he's got enough about him, man. I don't think this South team's that strong.
Yeah, okay. Sure. In a pinch, in a buy round, I'm fine with it. Hopefully he scores a treble. Hi, I'm Lukey owners. Fantastic. Reed Marnie actually getting minutes, so you can start him. You can start Michele. Can you start Lolo, boys? He's been pretty good. He's averaging the last 5 rounds, 60-ish.
Oh, he's one I'm really on the fence with because, yeah, he's been so good. But then I don't know if anyone saw Todd Payton's interview pre-Magic round when they were talking about Taumalolo not being there. And Todd Payton just sounded so dismissive of just said he was struggling with his knee, he hasn't been training, he's been this and that. it just sounded like Tamalolo needed a rest bad. And like I see him at 13 there, I'm like, he's been so good, and we all love a bit of Lolo, but there's also that interview in the back of my head going, geez, Tamalolo might honestly just play 30 minutes here. Like it could be just one big stint. And like when I say big stint, obviously not in terms of minutes, but just in terms of impact. Like just get out there and rip in and try and get us forward and then go off. Like I'd love for him to play like 55 minutes, but yeah, there's that risk that it could go really wrong. So
yeah, that's true.
I mean, yeah, it's still alluring. Don't get me wrong. Like if it gets to the last game of the round and you need someone, especially in the front row, and he's out there, because it's hard to get upside in the front row. So like if Lolo gets 50 minutes, he could punch out like 60 or even more. But yeah, it's one of those ones that like I just don't really know where I sit with it. So it's probably one I'm going to let go through the keeper. But yeah, if I get pushed hard on it, I could go back to the well. But it had to be a very specific scenario, I reckon.
I'm a yes on the basis they play the last round, Simo, and I don't mind, say, picking him up early with a very low-end claim or a free agent if you're lucky, and then you can just flex out and drop him for someone else if you find out your matchup's going to shit. Like, I think he's one of those really good ones for that in your FRF. So, and I do wonder, Todd's like, let's be perfectly honest here, even this stage of his career, Lolo, if potentially could have played Origin over Trent Liero, I still think he's so much than Trent Liero.
Yeah, that's
not even.
We're talking different grades.
So he should have. I mean, it's you should never give Queensland jerseys out for just for tokens. But I mean, for what Lolo's done for the NRL, I mean, now that he's got the chance to actually play it, like I'm all for like a Tamalolo cameo of jersey 17 off the bench. Like we've been trotting out Felice Kafusi's been trotting out and doing bugger all. Like Josh Papali'i's been doing it. Like as a Queenslander, I'm all for Lolo just playing one or two Origins and just going off the bench and ripping in.
I'd have loved it. I'd even love if, like, say Queensland, Laurie's given this a chance. Say it's a dead rubber for the third. How sick would it be if there's a little spot for him to just have a cameo? I think that would be so awesome.
Yeah. Be sick.
So just lock it in. Hello, good sir. Good to have you back. Promise I hadn't missed your question, mate. I will just wrap up this game and I will absolutely go to that next because it's a ripper. So big fan. Okay, so on the Bunnies side of thing, gentlemen, there's some interesting options here. So Latrell Seegwald obviously looked fantastic as like junior Latrell Tots. His fullback, halfback eligibility is kind of sick.
Pretty crazy.
He's lower than any of the good options that we said. So obviously you Trey Fuller. I'd have him below Dane Laurie as well, pretty comfortably. Yeah. But I tell you what, mate, he's probably not far behind then if he's the consolation prize, I suppose.
Yeah. Every chance getting up here against the Cowboys too without Dearden. So yeah, don't mind it. Very low end claim if you're really needy.
Alex Johnson's back for owners just at the right time. That's a fantastic in. So yeah, without Big Trell there, it's maybe not as good, but Little Trell could still do a job. I don't know a lot about Penatani, Simo. Anything?
No, don't know anything about him.
She plays in the NRLW, doesn't she?
Penatani Gray, she is now, Todd, man. Like on the Fox coverage too, yeah.
Mate, gets a run for the South A grade. That's fucking big balls.
Will's added that couple of comments here. Intrigued to see how Little Trail goes for the Bunnies. Yeah, absolutely. Will, our man Phoenix is back. Says good to be watching. Very good. I don't think JT qualifies for Origin. I thought he did sneak in the pre-14 run. I thought I heard, but I could be wrong. Maybe that's why he's not playing. All right, so just a couple other options here in the forwards. Ewan Aiken, gentlemen. Fifi's going to be back after the bye, so I wouldn't go as hard as maybe it looks because I don't think Tallis will move back to an edge once Big Latrell is back in. But there is a chance that Ewan gets all of these buys because Latrell's either playing Origin or he's injured, right? So Ewan might just hang on for relevance for a little while. How hard would you go, Tots?
I'd be happy spending a mid to high, like a 3-4. I think it'd be fine for the next couple of weeks.
He's actually like a really for this model of like being a high tackling, runs enough, occasionally hits upside. He's actually probably pretty decent. So, Simo, any harder, any less?
Definitely not harder. He's one of those ones here in Aiken, like he finds a way to keep being Supercoach relevant all these years on, and he's one of those guys that like it's really hard to buy into, but like you really should, because he's been playing really good for both real life and Supercoach. Look, as you mean, Latrell Mitchell, I mean, South had the bye next week. He should be back after that. But I mean, it wouldn't shock you if, like Latrell, if he does start having these issues in here and there, like Tallis going and playing centre for a more extended period of time, would then open up Aiken to play more of a second row, like rest of season a bit more. So I'd really hate for that to happen, to be honest, but like it's well within the range of outcomes, which would be great for Aiken. So it just adds a little bit more value to what was already a pretty good play for this week. So for me, he's a mid-tier claim, but yeah, I wouldn't be going 3-4, but that's just me being a bit of a dinosaur, a bit of a fossil, staying away from guys who I think are sort of more towards the end of their career and have sort of soft tissue injuries in the past.
Mamazalis could just do enough here with that bench. Humphreys will probably come in and spell him for a little bit, but I think there's probably a decent argument there for a floor game, Todd. So pretty low end one. Adam Elliott shouldn't spell him at 9. That is the worst service we've seen for a long time.
That would be pretty grim.
Yeah, it was pretty rough to watch. So hopefully he won't be at 9. Very strange stuff. Campbell Graham just doing what he's pretty much done his whole career, just ruining you, thinking you had good buy coverage. It is just brutal. Yeah, he's a flat no for me and will be for the rest of his career. I'm well off. All right, that takes us through the buy rounds. Now, there is one great question here from man. Lock it in. He's been very patient. Simo, I'll go to you first, mate. Thoughts on Kinney, RTS, Rauchman to Reece Walsh? Thoughts on that trade, big, buy, low?
So he's giving,
Yes.
3 for 1 here?
Yep.
Jeez. I mean, there's a lot to unpack with that. I think the Walsh owner would do it, no doubt about that. Kinney's has been pretty good. He hasn't been like as good as he sort of was hoped to be on draft day, but he still hasn't been bad. He's sort of warming into it. But, I mean, RTS, I don't really factor into it too much, but Ryan Couchman has been just an absolute beast, pumping out 70s pretty much every week. So, yeah, I think if you just say Kinney and Rauchman for Walsh, I think that's a fair price. I kind of like it, though, because, I mean, Reece Walsh is obviously a massive buy low. So, yeah, I think it's a very fair deal, and I could see it going either way. I think the Walsh owner would have to seriously look at that.
Todzer, I'm on the Walsh side there, mate. I think he's a player gives you the best chance to win a comp, and that's why we're all here.
Yeah, I think you boys are both nailed it. Simo, I think nailed it perfectly. I think it's really like a pretty fair trade when you look at Rauchman and Kinney for Walsh. But yeah, who would you want on the run home to back in to win you a week? It'd definitely be Reece Walsh.
Yep. So the challenge in the short term is you're also your coverage at 2RF. Lock it in. So you'd want to. I can't remember. I think your format from memory is very shallow, so you play 2 2RFs. If that's the case, a shallower league, you definitely want the high-end superstar upside, so that's a no-brainer. If it's 3 2RFs, you just want to make sure that drop-off, like Rauchman, if he's your third 2RF, sure. If he's your second, yeah, you might. That's interesting to me if you haven't got a backup, but go for it, mate. Good luck. Let us know how you go. Love when you throw these big trade questions at us. It's awesome. Phoenix has come in with, hey, boys, I'm on the Teddy and Sam Walker owner. Do we prefer a claim on Trey Fuller or Tamari Martin? I would sure.
Tamari Martin.
It's longer term value, right?
Yeah,
it gives you coverage of both. Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. Beautiful. Good question, mate. Will, story time. Last week's trade. Person who had 2 halfbacks I was annoying for a trade, Boyd and JC. ended up giving me JC and Aaron Clark for Tallis Duncan and AKP. Jesus. Poor fella now doesn't have a halfback in AKP. That's gone very well. Apart from the Tallis, he's also got Tallis Duncan playing in the centres. That's rough chat. Aaron Clark is an absolute beast. So well done.
It's a horrible trade anyway.
Locking in says, amazing memory, Redford. Thank you, mate. Nice to get a kind word every now and again. Basically just chasing the gun player in the deal. Great thoughts. Yeah, you shallower format, always the higher end guy. It's the way you win. And cheers from Phoenix. Good stuff, listeners. All right. We've run through each of the waivers there. I'm not going to repeat. There's so many. I think we've given the listeners plenty here, boys, around the good options. So we're going to just jump into now the Listener League wrap-up. Take it away, Mr. Tiodmian.
Yes, mate. Magic round saw myself, as per usual, magical 789 versus 701 to the wet-haired Nikos.
The scummer. You love it.
789 is a scummer, yes. BDE Simon gets a job done, old son.
Yeah, well
9-13 against the bearded Broncos at 787. You boys would have been in a cracker. 9-13 Simo was, and Redford got 9-20. That would have been fun. 9-20 versus 7-44, SJ's revenge. Unfortunate, mate. If you are listening, you sent me a trade a month ago. It's still up there. You should remove it. I don't think you'll be happy if I accepted RP Coruscant for Rauchman. A month and a half later. Imagine if I accept that a month and a half later.
I mean, hey, Todza, I reckon Saran's sitting there and he's saying, nah, push that button, old son.
Yeah, no, you should get rid of that one, brother. Anyway, Adolf Fittler, my favorite name in this game, 8-21 versus Sherry's Pie, 7-82. Not too good there for the Sherry's. Baxter's Boys gets a win over Don't Go Chasing Kurt's Falls, and Munsters Inc. Back on top, 8-69 versus 7-14 for the Silkwood Slugs. We're sitting second, boys. We've got Munsters Inc. in first. You boys are coming up towards the old 5 and 10, boys. So we need to put in an effort.
I'm coming, mate. I'm making my run late. It's happening.
It's going to be a hell of a late run.
Been there before, mate. No, good stuff. Thank you very much, Mr. Todd Man. All right, boys. That brings us to the end of our bye-week special. Love this time of year. Get active. Active owners are generally the one that get the chocolates on these weeks. So do your thing. Love your work, Will. Thank you for joining us as always, mate. Cheers, fellas. Legends as always. See you next week. Good man. Simo, thank you very much, good sir. And I must say, internet held up this week. Holy dooly.
Mate, don't ask me how or why, but we'll take it. We won't complain. We'll just take it when it happens, boys.
Wonderful. Thanks, sir. We'll see you on to. Thank you as always, good sir. Good effort.
Yes, mate. Thank you. No, thank you, mate. You did a great job tonight. I'll let you know.
Oh, hello. Look at your work. That's bloody 2 bits of praise. I don't know what to do. And boys, Razzle, our boy, just sitting there lurking in the background, makes a very late appearance. G'day, Razzle. Good to see you, mate. Listeners, thank you for tuning in. Good luck this week. And as always, get that booty, India. Oh, yeah. See you.